Well, it's that time of year again. It is January, and that means everyone is going to be getting fit for January, detoxing for January, getting fit, getting into fitness, and getting exercise. Well, walking is for zombies. Running is for running away from zombies. So, buy yourself a bicycle. This is the video about the top 5 bikes for under £600. Well, £600 or under. Right, without further ado, let's crack on with it. 5 good cheap bicycles. GT Avalanche Sport. And a lot of people will be saying this isn't a remarkable bike, and well, it isn't. It's pretty average. But you do get a tapered head tube, internal cable routing, and yes, it's a 2x9 setup, so you've got Livio, and yes, we're running a square taper bottom bracket on this one, unlike some of the others. So as far as specs are concerned, it's not quite as good, and it's got an SR Suntour XCT fork as well. However, it does have hydraulic disc brakes, it does have a tapered head tube, and well, it's a GT, and I've ridden loads of these. I've got, videos of slightly older models of this, and although what they make up for in some of the specs, the actual frame does ride really, really nice, so this could certainly be a platform to consider if you're planning on upgrading that front fork. And upgrading that front fork is something you will really need to do. It's the XCT. Yes, I believe this. Yes, it has hydraulic lockout on it, but the XCT is nowhere near as good as the XCM or the XCR. So that is just one thing to consider. It's a bit on the pricier end of the range here. It's $595. It's not a bad bike. It's not a super good deal either. But yeah, these things are available in various different colours and are a very pretty bike to look at. So if you want something that's more for looks than anything else, or not, not only looks, but you know what I'm saying, it can do a bit of everything, but also looks really good and is stylish. This, in my opinion, is the one to go for out of these. This is a very stylish bike indeed. It's got the bling factor of it being a GT, and it's it's got the real nice paintwork as well. So as far as paintwork, frame, and a platform that you could upgrade later on, this is quite a nice one. Voodoo Braag. Okay, so the Voodoo Braag has a tapered head tube. It is £575. It has a 1x9 1146 gear system on it. SR Suntour 120mm travel fork. It's the XCM 32. So, that's a pretty basic fork, but then we're in this category. Most of the bikes, except for the Pinnacle Kappa 3, have, really basic forks. So a fork upgrade is probably going to be on your list very soon, like within a year or so, if you're looking at bikes at this price point and you're going to use them heavily. But anyway, the frame is solid, taped head tube, which is nice. It means fork upgrades are much easier to come by, new or used. We have a proper 1x system on here. The external bearings on here. So you can, the crankset's actually a decent crankset. It's a 1x. Well, it's a 1x. Yeah, by decent I mean it's a 1x, and it's got external bearings as opposed to being a square taper bottom bracket. The modern square tapers seem to be made out of cheese. They were okay back in their day in the 90s, but in modern times, if you've got a square taper on it, it's probably going to break the second you do anything, anything hardcore on it, so to speak. But anyways, yeah, micro shift gears, which are like an emerging brand. They are pretty decent though, compared to completely no-name stuff. So that's perfectly fine. It comes with Maxi's Ardent tyres on it, which again are a nice finishing package to it. Obviously, short stem, wide bars. It's got modern geometry, and it's £575. This is a good bike to get into mountain biking. It's pretty much trail ready. You could literally just chuck this in the back of the car on the rack or whatever and go straight to your local bike park, providing you have a helmet and some experience of how to use it. You could do Terry's Belly, you could do blue runs on this with no problem. And yeah, I wouldn't go doing a red run on it currently because the suspension fork's only rated for cross country, hence the XC designation in the name. But yeah, this would be totally fine for Terry's Belly and stuff like that at Bike Park Wales. Heck, I'd probably do AC/DC on it, no problem. Chick sounds, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's a good bike for the price. Yeah, that's for sure. Right, moving on. The next bike on the list, Carrera Sulcata. Okay, so this bike is a very, very good bike for the money. This is £455, and for the money you get 20 speeds, that's 2x10 Shimano dual gearing. Comes with Suntour XCM forks with 120mm of travel. Those are not great, but they do have 120mm of travel, which means you can chuck another 120mm travel fork on here as an upgrade, so you have a good upgrade path. These now have a lifetime warranty on the frame as well, so any problems there and you're covered. We have internal cable routing as well, which is nice, keeps all the mud and crud out of the way of the cables. So like I mentioned before, it is a 2x crankset. It appears to be running a Shimano style Holotech design, or external bottom bracket bearings anyway. That's the main thing you need to worry about here. 27.5 inch wheels, has hydraulic disc brakes, and yeah, she's a pretty good deal for the money. Compared to a lot of other bikes in this price point, you'd be getting 9-speed, and there'd be 9-speed derailleurs without a clutch. Oh, did I mention the dual derailleur has a clutch? So what that means is you can basically, it stiffens up the cage, or pretty much stops the cage from moving. It will move under extreme circumstances, like if you pull it, try to take the wheel off, and you forget to push the clutch lever down to disengage it. But of course I don't recommend you do that, but always make sure you release that lever, but it has sort of a bit of a safety feature in there just in case. But yeah, basically what that does, it helps keep the chain, helps stop the chain dropping under extreme situations. So instead of the derailleur cage flopping around and also hitting your chainstay, of course, because as the derailleur flips around, it can hit the chainstay, not only damage the chainstay, the chain, the actual derailleur itself, but it could also cause the chain to come off at the most inconvenient moment, which is never fun, is it, guys? Putting the chain back on, getting your fingers covered in schmoo, nah. So the clutch derailleur, when you're doing something a bit gnarly, you can put the clutch on, and it will be super. It will not drop the chain, so it shouldn't drop the chain. You set up correctly. So yeah, fantastic. This really is one of the best bikes for £455, guys. So I mean, yeah, right. A couple of years ago, for about the same sort of money, you could get RockShox and stuff like that. Not happening at the moment. So for the money, this is the best one. It takes super wide tyres as well, which is nice. In the photo, they have some fairly wide tyres on it. It doesn't actually say what the maximum tyre width is on here, but it's almost like the Vendetta Plus bike, but a more high-end version of it. But it doesn't tell you that. So yeah, nice looking bike. It's got more modern geometry. It's not like the old Sulcata, which had very similar geometry. It was basically a Hellcat. It was basically a rebranded Hellcat. Had mostly the same parts. It was just a different name and a different colour scheme. But yeah, in this case, it does seem we've got slightly more modern geometry, and it's got a tapered head tube as well, so it's compatible with the latest and greatest forks. AKA replacements on eBay are cheap, new or used for brand name stuff. Don't go buying any of that baloney rubbish or KRSEC or any of those dodgy Chinese unbranded junky forks. You want to stay well away from them, trust me. They're basically Suntour insides with their own really terrible chassis, so stay away from those. But yeah, this bike as an overall package, it comes with wide bars and a short stem. You don't even need to upgrade that. It just comes with it. It's ready to ride as is. You can go. It's ready for it's ready. So £455. I'd say that's a deal. White 603, people. This is another good deal. We have internal cable routing. We have a tapered head tube. We have 120mm SR Suntour fork, which, yeah, I can't believe I'm getting excited about that in 2022, but hey ho. So yeah, White is a good brand of bike. They're solid. Has a Shimano crankset on here. Shimano Altus 9-speed. Which is pretty good. It's 1136 9-speed cassette on there, which is pretty decent. The stem is a 35mm long stem, so nice short stem. It's got Tektro hydraulic disc brakes on it. Yeah, not a bad bike at all, guys. Maxxis tyres, which is always nice. Comes with branded tyres. Maxi's Forsaker 27.5, 2.35 on the front and 27 by 2.25 on the rear. So, you know, not a bad bike at all. Again, it has SR Suntour XCR, 120mm of travel. That has got a hydraulic lockout on it. It's not a mechanical lockout. Not that they really do those these days, but some cheaper forks still have them. Is a grease lubricated fork at this price point. It's not a RockShox or anything like that, but because it's a tapered steer tube, you can upgrade to a RockShox later on if you wanted to. Internal cable routing means that the dirt and crud won't get in the cables anywhere near as quickly, although it does make them a little bit more tricky to service. But if you're going to take it to a bike shop, that's their problem anyway, right? But no, all jokes aside, it's easy enough to do. There's videos on YouTube of how to do it, various ways involving a vacuum cleaner that help you suck it through there. But yeah, White 603, that's a good bike to be going along with. Right, let's get the next bike on the list. 1151 tooth, Shimano Jaw 11 speed, RockShox Silver, 120mm travel forks. We have WTB Trail Boss Comp 27.5 by 2.25 tyres. And yeah, this is on Evans Cycles, and this bike is the Pinnacle Kappa. So yeah, 120mm travel. We have proper drivetrain. We have Shimano Jaw 11 speed, 1151 teeth on that socket, on that cassette rather. She'll climb hills fantastically. This is by far the best spec out of all of these. It will totally blow the others out of the water, which is not really surprising. So yeah, she's absolutely fantastic. The RockShox fork does it, guys. To be honest, an 11-speed drivetrain. Yes, it's not a tapered head tube, but nor is it on the Specialized. So Specialized rock hopper. So hey ho, it's a pretty good deal, guys. Not gonna lie, she is a really good deal for the money. Pinnacle Kappa 3, fantastic.